name is Monique.
And I'm Naveen from Before You Play.
And today we're going to be showing you how to play a game that is currently on Kickstarter called Steam Up, a feast of dim sum.
Yes, this one is published by Hot Banana Games and it's designed by 3 different designers, Pauline Kong, Marie Wong, and Haymen Lee. And it's a 2 to 5 player game that is centered around dim sum, which is a Chinese delicacy.
In this game, we are trying to score the most amount of points by purchasing dim sum instead of the table, right? There's a little bit more to it than that. And so today we're going to show you how to play it. But before we get started, we do want to mention, since this game is currently on Kickstarter, this is technically a prototype copy of the game, which means things are subject to change in the final copy.
If you are interested in this game, there is a link to the Kickstarter campaign down in the description below. And lastly, if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
And with that, I think we're ready to begin, right? So if you please direct your attention to the center of the table, we're all set up here for a 2-player game of Steam Up.
Yes.
And so as you can see, I am the magician. It's a rabbit, I suppose.
And I'm the naughty kid, a monkey.
That's right. And so just to kind of give you the lay of the land, in the middle here, we have our table. We are enjoying a nice feast of dim sum. And so we have 5 different types of dim sum here. We have the sticky rice, we have a meat dumpling, a shrimp dumpling, phoenix claw, as well as the barbecue meat bun over here. Which one's your favorite type, Naveen?
Probably the sticky rice.
Yeah, me too.
Honest, yeah.
Wow, what a coincidence. And so over here, we have the scoreboard, which also houses essentially the round tracker, which is not necessarily a round tracker. It's more of an area that lets us know how much longer we have until the end of the game. We also have a deck of fortune cards and our fate cards, and of course, all of the tokens that represent the 5 different types of dim sum, which we're going to be acquiring in order to purchase these steamers. Now, the way that the game works is over the course of the game, we're going to be collecting these food tokens in order to exchange them for an entire steamer's worth of dim sum. And so in order to claim any of the topmost steamers here, you have to have the exact number of these food tokens that represent the food inside the steamer. Whenever you collect the dim sum tokens, they're going to be placed on your mat and they're going to score you a certain number of points depending on which character mat you have. And so all 12 of these mats are asymmetric. They also tell you what your starting resources are. My rabbit magician over here allows me to start the game with 1 starting food token of my choice, as well as 2 of these fortune cards. And these fortune cards just let you do various things, such as swap out steamers and stuff like that. In addition, my ability says after purchasing a steamer, I may swap 1 dim sum inside of it with the dim sum in any top steamer on the turntable. And so that'll make sense as we talk about how you play the game.
For me, I start with 2 different tokens of different types of foods, as well as 2 fortune cards. And then my ability is, as a bonus at any time on my turn, I can roll this lucky die, and depending on what is rolled, something will happen. And that'll make more sense as we go along.
That's right. And so on your turn, you're going to take 2 actions. And there are 5 different actions that you can take. You have to take 2 different ones. You cannot choose the same one twice. And so we're just going to kind of discuss each of the 5 different actions so you can kind of understand how the game works.
Yeah, the flow of the game.
The first type of action allows you to take 1 of these food tokens. And it's just as simple as that. You just take 1 food token and you put it into your supply. So let's say at the start of the game, I chose as my starting food token 1 of these meat dumpling food tokens. That's in my supply. And then now on my turn, I'm going to go ahead and choose that action to take a food token. And I'm going to take this phoenix claw. The second type of action I can take allows me to take a fortune card and then optionally rotate the turntable. And so if I want to take this action, I just draw the topmost card here. And these cards allow you to do various things, such as gaining 1 token of your choice. But in order to play these cards, that is a separate type of action. As a part of this action, I can optionally rotate the turntable 90 degrees. And I can do it in either way, either clockwise or counterclockwise. And so the turntable is actually different depending on the number of players, because this dictates which steamers we're allowed to purchase. Each player needs to sit around the table so that they're facing a certain feast zone. And a feast zone is a space that's in between 2 lines. And so in this example, in a 2-player game, this is going to be my feast zone over here. And so in my feast zone right now, I have 2 different steamer stacks, one of which I'm sharing with my neighbor, Naveen.
Me, yep.
Exactly. And so either of us can essentially purchase this steamer. Now, the third type of action allows you to play fortune cards from your hand. And so that is the only way that you can play these. Optionally, I can then rotate the turntable after I'm done doing that if I wanted to. But again, you're only taking 2 actions on your turn.
That's right. And you can always rotate it only 90 degrees.
Exactly. So I do have a fortune card in my hand. If I wanted to play it, I could. This has gain 1 token of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and place this in the fortune discard pile and take a shrimp dumpling.
Okay.
Now, again, you only have 2 actions on your turn, and I'm right now taking all of them.
All 3 of them, yeah.
But it's just for demonstration purposes. And then I can optionally rotate the turntable, which I guess I'll do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees.
That way.
Counterclockwise.
Cool.
Just to kind of get the steamer that I want out of Naveen's feast zone.
Yep.
The 4th type of action allows you to discard 2 fortune cards from your hand in order to take one of these food tokens. Because again, in order for you to take a steamer, you need to have that amount of food tokens in your possession. And the 5th and final action type, which I'm going to be doing on my turn, allows me to purchase a steamer. So I'm going to go ahead and turn in all 3 of these food tokens, which is a meat dumpling, a shrimp dumpling, and a phoenix claw, in order to take this topmost steamer. Now, the steamers are going to have anywhere from 2 to 4 random dim sum combinations in them. And once you purchase a steamer, all of the dim sum go directly onto your board from left to right. So my shrimp dumpling goes right there, scoring me 1 point. The phoenix claw also scores me a point here. And then the meat dumpling will go right there and score me an additional point. So that is 3 points total. I'm going to go ahead and move my my marker. And as you can see, there are different types of components that represent the dim sum. And so we're not sure if there might be like a deluxe version versus a regular version, but just so you know, this is kind of like the difference in the components. Now, each time a player purchases a steamer, you're going to move the token down on this steamer track, because this is one of the ways in which the game can end. So essentially, in a 2 or 3 player game, you can purchase up to 12 steamers before the game end is triggered. Once this token gets down to 0, then that's going to signal the end of the game. You finish out the round, and then you go into endgame scoring at that point. The other way in which the game could end is if this fate deck were ever to run out. And so starting in the 2nd round onwards, we're going to be drawing the topmost card of this fate deck at the start of the round. And each player is going to be subject to whatever the card says. So in this example, it says during this round, whenever a player plays a fortune card, they may play a second one after the first is resolved without taking an extra action. So this allows you to do a 2-for-1 on this fortune card action, essentially.
Yep.
And so once the game ends, you're going to tally up your final scores by awarding each player 1 extra hardy point for every 2 fortune cards you have left in your hand. You also lose 1 hardy point, though, if you have any of these leftover food tokens. It's minus 1 point for every 2 of these, so don't waste any food.
That's right, yes. In a lot of Asian cultures, it is frowned upon to have food wastage.
And at that point, whoever has the most points wins. And that is essentially how you play a game of Steam Up. Now, a lot of the gameplay is going to come into the asymmetry of the faction mats. We mentioned that there are 12 different types of these mats.
Yep.
And I believe they all follow the different animals of the Chinese zodiac.
Yes. So we're showcasing 2 of them here, but there's a total of 12 different ones.
Exactly.
They all have different abilities as well as different scoring criteria for the different types of dim sum that you're going to be placing on here.
Right.
So for me, I don't want to specialize all the way to the end if I'm the naughty kid. Unlike you do want to get to the end because those are the most beneficial or most lucrative points for you.
The last spot in each row is going to score me 3 points versus 2 and 1, the other ones.
Exactly.
And just so you can see a couple more examples, we have the loyal customer here, who is also a dog. And as you can see, all of the dim sum spots are only worth 1 point each. And the last column is 0 points, just like Naveen's monkey over here. And the reason why is because it says when you purchase a steamer, you gain bonus hardy points, which is the type of points here, based on the number of dim sum inside of it. And so as a loyal customer, if you purchase a steamer with 4 or more dim sum, you gain 3 hardy points in addition to whatever these points are here. 3 dim sum will get you an additional 2 points, and 2 dim sum is an additional 1 point. And so this one is a little bit more of a strategic mat. You want to kind of go for the ones that have more dim sum inside of them.
So that is essentially Steam Up. That is how you play the game. There is a link to the Kickstarter campaign down in the description below. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down in the comment section. That way we can get back to them as soon as we can. And if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing.
Thanks for watching. Bye.